No more limits. Midnight just let players go wild. That's right, guys. I just talked about it literally seconds ago about how I feel like this Season 1 has some of the craziest power leveling we have ever seen. I mean, the power scaling right now for players in Season 1 is off the charts. We are becoming more and more powerful. We have these Ascendant Void Cores pumping up our gear. We've got the ability to reroll on best in slot gear, and now we're getting this Omnium Folio in 12.0.7 that's buffing us even further. So we're going off right now, and this is just Season 1. What does that mean for Season 2 in the future? I have no idea, but let's see what Bellular has to say about how Midnight is absolutely letting all the freaking bars down and letting players go absolutely nuts. Let's see what he's got to say here.
This season has turned into something almost unrecognizable. Like, if you haven't been locked in, you might have missed some of the massive changes to how you just play WoW day to day. It's kind of crazy. There's new crest saving tricks, all limiters have pretty much been removed, and there's even ways to get...
I'm not gonna lie, this new dark background that Bellular's been doing, it just makes me uncomfortable. I feel like something's gonna come up from behind him. I don't know.
Alt geared in pretty much just a couple of minutes if you're lucky. It's kind of crazy. So in today's WoW News, we have a lot to cover. There's all the things that have changed in-game, but perhaps more importantly, there's everything that is about to be changed as well.
Gearing Unleashed.
I'll start with something huge. As of last week, all crests are now uncapped, so there's basically no more limits on your progress. No more logging in and finding yourself having capped within just an hour or two, which is what had happened to me for most of my time being serious about this season, and then, you know, being left thinking, there's really not much else to do. That did get pretty bad this season, especially once hero crests started coming so easily from Nightmare Prey.
Yeah.
But now it's basically not a problem. You can just play as much as you want, and outside of raid gear and the vault, really nothing is stopping you from just...
Yeah, I wonder what the percentage of players were that were like hitting cap for crests every week, because I think right now we have the most sources of crests we've ever had. Nah, I don't think that's a wild statement to make. I'm sure statistically that's true. We just have so many ways to get crests right now, whether it's the prey system, ritual sites, obviously the classics of delves that just recently came in with the War Within. We also have the, you know, like the standards, the mythic pluses and the raids and everything else. It just seems like there's so many ways to gather up crests right now. I feel like a ton of people were probably crest capped, so it was nice to see them remove the cap, and I feel like it's going to bring a lot more people back and just give them the ability, hey, you don't have to stop playing right now. You can keep going. Be the actual degen you want to be and keep grinding out those crests because it's unlimited right now.
Completely maxing things out. But there's another side to this as well. Crest transmutation. It becomes so much more powerful whenever you can trade crests up into like really good ones. Because of course previously the cap would rapidly shut that down. With the cap not shutting that down, it really is crazy, and it feels like almost every resource you get can actually be used to further your character, which feels pretty great, and it begs a question.
It does.
Why are they doing this now? Well, Blizzard haven't actually explained themselves here, but most people are pointing to one thing, and that thing is the Lura Hall of Fame, because it closed the same week. So Blizzard clearly sees that as the kind of proper end to the season. That means that they can now open the season up and just let people go as ham as they want. That sounds great.
There's one more thing they could do, and you guys already know what I'm going to say. If you've been in this stream for even freaking 5 minutes over the last couple of years, I'm saying this every 5 minutes, basically. When the Hall of Fame ends, there's one more thing Blizzard could do to basically open it up. Release the lockout, boys. Release the damn lockout. Undo the lockout. We don't need a lockout on Mythic rating anymore when this shit's done, and basically allow it to be pugged, okay? I'll keep saying it, because eventually some Blizzard employee is going to get thrown one of my shitty videos on YouTube for no reason because the algorithm absolutely throws my garbage all over the place, and they're going to watch it and be like, hey, this Samiccus guy has a point. Why do we get the lockout still up when all the competition's over? Yeah, that's right. Fivehead over here.
Right, but I've seen people have a bit of a worry. The worry being how long it takes to actually max out your character when, you know, you're grinding up all these crests, especially if you've not been playing loads. That's led to people asking for a crest buff, and once you crunch the numbers, I think you can kinda see their point. So, even using the hero crest trick to get myth items to 2 out of 6, you still need a rather whopping 1,280 myth crests. Now, naturally, the fastest way to do that is Mythic Plus, and you've got two choices.
Right.
12 crests for every timed plus 10 you do, which is a hell of a lot easier, or 16 from a timed plus 12, which ultimately ends up being a lot faster. Now what's cool about Raider.io is we can dive into the data, and it shows that 10s and 12s average between 20 and 30% of the timer being left whenever they're actually completed. So here's what that basically maths out to in real terms. 33 hours of plus 12s or 39 hours of doing plus 10s. That's a hell of a lot, and that's also just the pure dungeon time. That's not including all the time faffing around.
So a work week. You basically got a work week of plus 10s to get done. A 40-hour work week of running these back to back to back to back would get you there. Interesting. Look, one thing about the crest system also is I think the crest in general, crest system's the best it's ever been too. I think right now the upgrade system, using the gold and everything, it's great. Now, one way to shortcut this, and I don't know Belial is going to say it. I haven't pre-watched this, so I don't know. But using the Ascendant Void Core to upgrade your heroic capped gear up to what is essentially a 5 of 6 myth track item level will allow you to then use gold to take whatever, like what is a 2 of 6 or a 1 of 6 myth track item all the way up to 5 of 6 without using a single mythic crest. And then you could just go out and gather the mythic crest. Now, yes, you're going to want to get another Ascendant Void Core if this is a trinket or a weapon to upgrade it beyond that too. But it's a little cheat code. If you don't want to run around gathering crests all day, that'll save you a ton of myth track crests. You'll have to gather hero crests instead, but those are much easier to get.
Before a dungeon or between dungeons. Once you factor that in, you could be looking at 60 plus hours of...
Yes, it only does that with trinkets and weapons. I know. That trick is only going to work with those item slots. I get that. Nobody has to tell me. Okay, I understand. But it's hey, it's a big one. And obviously, those are some of your most important slots anyways, so that's where you're going to want to really get some myth track items going.
Endgame, just for upgrades, never mind the gear itself. Though if you're running that much content, you're probably going to be swimming in gear. Now, if you get the discount achievement, then you can shave half the crests off, but it's still well above 30 hours just to get geared. Now, I can see how those...
He basically just said it there, yeah. I didn't pre-watch it, I'm just, I know this, because, I play the game, okay.
Numbers seem spooky, but I think it's a pretty okay duration across a full season, especially if you're also playing the rest of the game. A lot of higher-end Mythic Plus players see gearing as basically foreplay before their real game starts. Basically, what feels like a meaningful gearing journey to one person may just be a chore to another. So perhaps extra crests should be on the table this late in the season, but you know what? They're not a thing, and that has not stopped people, because people are finding unintended ways to bypass as much as 240 myth crests, and the wild thing about it this time is that just about everyone can make use of this.
The Ascendant is he about to talk about
Cores,
it?
Then.
Is he literally about to talk about it? Man, I look like a pre-watched fuckboy right now. Shit. Shouldn't have said anything. Now the allegations are going to begin all over again.
These are a huge power boost this late in the season, and the way they work is kind of interesting. So, you can blast a weapon or a trinket way above its usual level of power, but there's a trick to doing it right. Blizzard probably didn't think about how this works with crests, so if you use an Ascendant Void Core on a hero weapon, it rockets up to eye level 285.
Right.
That's the same level as Myth 5 out of 6. So if you get a Myth weapon from the Vault or something else, you can just upgrade that basically to a massive item level without using a single crest, and then to finish the item off, it's just 20. And then, well, another Void Core.
I mean, look, it's called pre-research, guys, all right? I knew this strategy already, I know these things. It's as a man of the people, I must always keep up with the latest and greatest in the game. So I read about this, and I deduced it, okay? I don't need Belial to tell me. You know what? Belial pre-watched me. How about that? I think I already got a video up that says this same exact strategy. So what if that's what's going on here? What if Belial's pre-watching Samiccus? Anyone ever think about that? What if I'm the victim here? What if I'm getting pre-watch penetrated every day by Belial instead? Can we think about that for a second? Bird's eye view of the whole situation? Jesus.
Will allow you to get up to eye level 298. Now, this works on weapons and trinkets, and overall, it'll save you 240 myth crests, which is, when we go back to our keystones, 15 fewer Mythic plus 12s that you would have to grind to complete your character. Not that you need to complete your character, of course, just do that if you want to. Now, you'll still need the hero crests from doing all that content, but those things are far easier to come by. And you can also pull this trick off with crafted weapons as well, which is pretty sweet, though they are a little bit weaker. You'll basically need 40 crests for 2 upgrade stages instead of 20. Now, of course, it does sound like there's a catch here. And usually there would be a catch, but there doesn't seem to be this time, because in a kind of rare display of just being friendly towards people who want to farm things, Blizzard did not cap Ascendant cores the way that they did with the bonus roll things, which were called Nebulous cores. Right. Basically, you can use as many of these things as you like, and Blizzard made them pretty easy to farm. You see, they noticed players running ritual sites like madmen for the shards that you need. So
yeah, like clearly Blizzard's intention is not to really hold us back. I mean, it was only ritual sites before, and remember, we were farming that shit that one week, and then the next week Blizzard updates it and says, actually, you can get these things from just about any content you do. So just play the game. You're going to get your bonus rolls every single week. You're going to get a bunch of these, and you can just keep using them. And that's a new attitude from Blizzard, really, where they're not trying to kind of hold back the power scale or timegate the shit out of this. They're just like, you know what? It's a great system, and we're just going to let you use the system and get all your biz gear. Why not? Get all your biz shit and have a good time and upgrade them to its maximum, and you're just going to run around like a big boy, playing high-end content, which I think is the right attitude. Why hold people back? If they want to play the game, unlimited, basically degen their life away, just let them do it. Let the man degen.
What they did is they actually hotfixed the drop rates, and that means that instead of grinding ritual sites for a chance at a drop, you can now just do Mythic Plus, Raid, or just spend Delve keys to get guaranteed ones. So you're going to be swimming in these things if you target it. Yeah. There's really no catch to this. It is purely deterministic upgrade chasing, which is a kind of crazy thing for the game. But of course, Myth Gear isn't the only thing Blizzard are handing out freely. What about our lagging mains, or maybe fresh alts? That's where Warbound gear is really changing things.
Yeah,
there's a big new source of loot in the game, so here's how things work, right? If you're maybe not into housing decor or all the cosmetic things, then you've probably got loads of Voidlight Marl kicking around in your characters.
Yeah, I do.
Turns out, you can just turn that into gear for any character now, and it's all thanks to the Quel'Thalas equipment chests in Silvermoon. Basically, 750 Marl gets you a random piece of champion 1 out of 6 gear for your current spec, and that means that with enough luck, you can just skip the entire way to eye level 246, and then you can use the catalyst to instantly hit your 4 set, because of course, all your alts will have built up catalyst charges. That means that a fresh 90 can get straight into Mythic plus 10s or higher, well, within minutes, basically. And from there, you'll be farming uncapped crests, nebulous cores for your bonus rolls, ascendant cores for your upgrades, and essentially, you can just fully play the game and get your...
I mean, yeah, whoever was just talking about, hey, I want to start playing a rogue or a warrior for melee DPS, I mean, look, you could just freaking, literally, you can jump straight into the season. If you have a main with a ton of this stuff on it, you're ready to go. Jump into low-level Mythic Plus and just start grinding it up. And it's all uncapped. Like, you can so quickly gear out right now. They have uncapped powers for people to use alts and for people to gear out their mains right now.
Character as strong as you can push it. I don't think it has been this easy to start off a character in WoW.
It hasn't been.
It's kind of crazy. Now, there is a bit of a catch with these chests. They're random. They're completely random. So with the best case, it's about 11,250 Marl for a full set. You're not going to get the best case. So with bad luck, that could be double, it could be worse. Really, my recommendation for most people wanting to use this is to only really get so many bits of gear, because essentially the chances of your Marl spend being useful are the highest whenever you don't have any of the gear that the stuff can drop. The more that you get, then the lower the chance of a subsequent roll being an upgrade. So basically, I don't know, kit out about half of your character with it and then go finish off the rest from other sources. Pretty damn powerful, but if you're in the mood for farming gearboxes, there are of course other ones. There are heroic ones. They cost field accolades that of course you'll basically be earning anyway. Which is what I would say, but on the PTR, Blizzard are actually making alt gearing even easier. And of course, it's all about these boxes, and it's all about field accolades.
That's right. Yeah, it's
A little bit of
deterministic,
gacha-style blind
slot
box
specific.
action here or there is kinda harmless, but when you're clearing multiple max-level ritual sites to get one box and then rolling the same slot, well, that does just feel like a huge
Yeah, it
waste of
feels like
time.
shit.
The good news then is that in 1207, Blizzard are adding specific slot boxes, but with a 50% higher price. So basically, 750 field accolades will net you heroic gear in.
It's a good change, though. I'd rather pay more and have more determinism on what piece of gear I'm going to get. The randomness of the other shit just felt like more of a gamble. This at least feels like, well, I know I'm getting a pants upgrade, and I need a pants upgrade. Am I going to get my biz one? I don't know. But at least I'm going to get some damn pants, right? Nobody wants to be pantsless, unless you're watching my stream.
The slot that you actually want, which certainly stings because it's more expensive, but let's be real, I think it is a far, far, far better deal because it'll let you just focus on shit that you actually need. But that's far from all the patches doing. The next one's kind of interesting. So there's showdowns that are a part of Heroic World Tier, and essentially they have been buffed. They have been buffed to be an absolute just gravy train or something like that of warbound gear and field accolades.
Man, look how many field at
It's
60,
kind of
geez.
crazy. So you're just going to get so much loot. And basically what all this means is that we're now weeks away from reliable, alt-friendly hero track gear, which is pretty big. But what if we don't care about alts? Well, good news is there is gear for mains as well. Now this is mostly from the new raid, which is called Sporefall. Basically, Rotmire initially dropped warbound gear with randomized stats. A bit of a weird experiment, but one they've seemingly killed, and they've killed it in favor of something more immediately interesting. He now drops Spore-fused gear, which is a fancy way of saying that the gear is 9 item levels higher than normal, and it's already fully upgraded.
I forgot to mention this. I remember I was just saying, like, we're getting crazy power scaling right now in a first season. We're also getting another raid that's dropping higher item level gear. My God, we are going to be so geared at the end. This is probably the most geared we've ever been at the end of a season 1. I'm just going to throw that out there, and I don't think there's anyone that's going to be able to prove that wrong. This is season 1, guys. And we have like 3 different levels of power scaling right now going on. Plus this fact that we're getting this crazy up ascendant void cores and now a raid that's also dropping higher item level gear. The game is done, yeah.
Now for Myth
just one
tier,
season.
that comes out to 298. That's
crazy
pretty
high
huge.
item
It's
levels.
basically a full tier above what it would normally be. And then there's his heroic gear, which is basically the same item level as Myth 5 out of 6 gear. Now, of course, numbers aren't everything. The actual loot table matters, and it's a really good loot table. There's a cantrip neck, cantrip ring, a universal trinket, plus 2 items of each armor type. So basically, whatever spec you are, there'll be a good reason to farm up Rotmire weekly before the next season starts, because this gear is actually strong enough that it will stick around for a good while. So there's a lot going on. Blizzard are doing loads of experiments, and really, I think the easiest way to understand this is it's basically like the last day of school. Blizzard sees this as the end of the season, so I think they've just decided, screw it. This is the last time that people will be doing this set of raids, this set of content, so why not just kind of let it go a bit mad? Of course, if you're not into that, sure, but if you are into that, yeah, you can get a completely busted character, you can see just how crazy your stat scaling will take you, and just become an unkillable god, I guess. Which to many people is kind of one of the points of playing an MMO. But it does bring us back to the crest buff question. Would a 50 to 100% buff really hurt that much? That's going to be the big question.
Yeah, it's like basic. I mean, you know, what's it called? The speed limiter in cars. You know, that thing that limits your cap speed as a speed governor, I think is what it's called. They basically removed that device. They're like, you know what? Let's just let them have fun. How about let's try that? Let's just try letting the players do whatever the hell they want and scale however they want and just max gear out and stop time gating them and holding them back. Let's just take off the governor. Goodbye, governor. Let's just have a good time. And people are speeding, as they should be. And I think it's making the season a little bit more fun. We constantly feel like there's more gear to be had, more shit to upgrade, more stuff to gear out with, and a higher item level to push to. I think it's made the season more fun.
I would say, though, that we risk just giving people so much, so fast, that many of the game systems just start to break down. I know that for getting myth crests, that really is a big farm, a big grind, but with a lot of the other crests and with the crest trading up system, which is like pretty useful, you do end up in a situation where you're just drowning with resources. There was actually points where you were getting crests so rapidly through this game that Blizzard's own weekly limits basically felt like they didn't really make sense with the rest of the system as it had been designed. I guess I just worry that if you keep ramming people full of, fat, salt, and sugar, right? You'll get this really tasty immediate experience with the game. But maybe people will just begin to just consume it blindly as content. I'm not exactly sure, but I'd love to know what your relationship with gear is in a game like this. But hey, if all you want to do is hop back into Midnight, get a fresh character geared up, and actually have some fun, this is essentially a perfect time for it, and you'll actually have a good reason to get and use all of that really powerful gear, because Heroic World Tier is a thing, and it's actually pretty damn hard. So these things all work together quite well, I'd say. Well, 1207 being what it is, and likely being pretty soon, we can now start wondering about patch 12.1. We could be getting news about that, like, any day now. Maybe even Xbox's showcase next weekend. They could have something there.
Is it?
But either way, we'll find out about
nice.
12.1, and therefore, really the direction of Midnight, pretty damn soon. But if you want to understand why it might actually be worth your time to get a character absolutely juiced to the tits, well, check out this video about Heroic World Tier and all the cool stuff that's going on there. Because finally, even if, say, you're not a Raider or a Mythic Pluser, oh, you have a good reason to get your character geared.
Nice. Yeah, all right. Nice video overall. I mean, I totally agree with everything he's saying. Blizzard's, they've taken off the governor, as I said. There's no speed governor right now. They're literally just letting us gear out, and then they're giving us more power boosts coming up in 12.0.7. We're just going to be super powerful for the end of a Season 1, more so than I think we've ever been. Which is, hey, it's a good thing. Let us have a good time. Let us power up. We'll see how the power scaling continues through the rest of the expansion, though. Nice video overall from Bellular.